Well, the Oscars last night were a bust, and it's not us who's saying it. It's Hollywood, in fact, and we're going to show you exactly how bad they think it was. Poor Jimmy Kimmel seems to have a certain former prez in his head and cannot get him out to improve ratings. But folks, we've got a secret piece of data as well that you do not want to miss that shows that woke is leading them broke. In Hollywood, it's no joke. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is a joy, as always, to have you here with us as we continue to explain entertainment and keep you ahead of the culture curve. Today, we are talking about a connection that you might not have seen coming. It's the Oscars, it's Jimmy Kimmel, and shocker, somehow, it's Brie Larson. All right, today we're starting off with an article out of USA Today called "The 2024 Oscars Were Worse Than Bad. They Were Boring" by Kelly Lawler. Oh my gosh, if this is what the intelligentsia around what we're supposed to believe the narrative is for entertainment, then look out, world. They're not happy. The 2024 Oscars started 5 minutes late, and it was only downhill from there. Perhaps that's a little harsh for the show, which featured some truly deserving and heartwarming winners: Ryan Gosling singing "I'm Just Ken" in a bedazzled pink tux, and John Mulaney doing a tight 3-minute stand-up routine on Field of Dreams. Frankly, folks, I think that the best win of the night was the reunion of Arnold Schwarzenegger and his little buddy from Twins as they got up there and talked about who they'd been defeated by, or how they were defeated by Batman. And then they riffed on Michael Keaton down below. It was wonderful. It was fantastic. And what a bunch of fun that was. That's what Hollywood needs more of. But really, the year after Hollywood shut down with 2 simultaneous strikes as new technology and economic headwinds forced the entire entertainment industry to reckon with an uncertain future, good Lord, what a start to a sentence. How did we end up with such a bland broadcast on Hollywood's biggest night? Fair to say, Kelly Lawler did not have a good time. The Oscars broadcast didn't feel like anybody's biggest night. It felt small, unimportant, skippable. It didn't get anywhere close to the urgency or relevancy of the nominated films. Ken might be enough, but Oscar certainly isn't. Now, to this I say that in terms of the awards, well, the awards were fine. In terms of who received them, I guess. Godzilla won, that was deserving. The Boy and the Heron won, that was deserving. Disney didn't have a whole lot of wins, that was deserving. But in terms of the delivery, I think this did more damage to Hollywood than people realize, because we're in a highly politicized situation. And Hollywood did itself no favors in trying to connect with the average American, or for that matter, according to ratings we're seeing out of the UK this morning, with the average Brit. Seems like Hollywood did not get the script for resolving and redeeming their relationship with the world. The folks out there in South LA or South Cal, they're struggling to relate to relatable people. It starts from the top. This is more criticism as to the Oscars. Cracking wise about celebrities getting Oppenhammered. To lame, half-hearted Madam Web, Barbs, and Trump jokes, host Jimmy Kimmel could have been sleepwalking through his 4th stint as host. Well, that's because he's boring. And he's not funny. He's a politician. He's a wannabe politician. So I'm not political. This channel is not political. I'm just telling you, Jimmy Kimmel traded in his man show humor, or whatever it was he was before he became a late-night host. And when he became a late-night host, he decided that it was no longer about being funny, that it was about making political satire. But even political satire is supposed to be humorous. Jimmy Kimmel is not that. He was never going to walk out with some show-stopping dance number, but maybe he could have tried a little harder than he does in a nightly monologue on his ABC late-night show. Some of his shtick might have made you chuckle. Most of it was your elementary school teacher's worst nightmare, in one ear and out the other. Well, mix in with that as well, folks, I would say poor jokes about people like RDJ. When someone overcomes something, when someone manages to excel and have a huge life success milestone moment where they can point to and say, this is a vice that I was able to overcome, this was an addiction that I defeated. You can make jokes about anything. But that's going to make a lot of people feel squeamish. And I'm not sure that RDJ accepted that joke very well, and I'm not sure he should have. So no shocker there at all. But let's talk about the secret stats that show that Hollywood really is misaligned with the average person. And we're going to go now to Twitter for that, to someone called Mac. Now it's known, and we are big fans of Mac. Mac provides us with tons of information that's detailed on a regular basis. And in this case, Although this is not directly related with the Oscars, I think it shows that Hollywood simply does not get the average person in the audience. The Walt Disney Company is the same. Here's what we're looking at. And this, folks, this, I promise you, almost nobody out there is looking at this. Mac, you have done us a great service to this audience and to this channel by bringing it to my attention. It says, even adjusted for runtimes, The Marvels has the lowest Disney Plus debut of any MCU film. How is this related with the Oscars? We'll get to it in just a moment. The Marvels at 105 minutes and Black Panther 2 at 161 minutes, Thor at 119 minutes. You get the idea. Let's take a look now at the image that we have here, and let's see what we've got. What we see in this is that, and folks, you may have to adjust your eyes, full screen this if you want to see this as well, because the numbers are quite small to fit it all on here. But if we go back to the opening weeks of streaming for various MCU films, let's start off with, for example, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, a film that everyone knew coming out of the box office was terrible, okay? So once it left the box office, we knew it was terrible. Yet it still pulled in 766 million minutes watched in its first week. All right, let's go to something a little better. Thor: Love and Thunder, still a really bad movie, but better brand recognition. 1,500 minutes watched, 1,500 million. That's 1.5 billion with a B, 1.5 billion with a B minutes watched in its first week on streaming on Disney+. Now, let's go to Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. 2,269 million minutes watched. That's 2.2 billion minutes watched for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever when it hit the streaming service. Now, The Marvels. The Marvels only managed 558 million minutes watched, essentially a quarter of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, why does that matter? In the case of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, that is essentially a funeral film. It is a memorial film to Chadwick Boseman, and all power be to that. But nobody is clamoring for another Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. That's the sad thing about that franchise, is because of the way they structured that film, a Black Panther 3 is very, very unlikely. And so while it's a last huzzah and a last hurrah, it doesn't have anywhere else to go. But The Marvels, which we can all fairly say that there's not going to be a sequel to The Marvels, The Marvels manages to end up in a spot where nobody wants to see a sequel, and it's also an absolute box office disaster, and it's also a streaming disaster. But I would present to you that we're looking at 4 MCU films here, none of which is likely to receive a sequel. But The Marvels goes far beyond being unsequelable. The Marvels hits the place where it's a disaster in every medium it has been released. Yet Hollywood has celebrated all 4 of these films. Hollywood has celebrated all 4 of these Marvel films. Hollywood loved them. Hollywood loved Thor: Love and Thunder. They enjoyed putting Chris Hemsworth out there in all of his bare-buttedness. They enjoyed putting Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania out there. They enjoyed it. They loved the CGI. They celebrated Victoria Alonso until it was no longer appropriate to do so. And they also found Black Panther: Wakanda Forever incredibly moving. The Marvels was a female empowerment movie, a milestone in cinematic achievement, until audiences did not show up. Folks, what I would suggest to you is that just as Brie Larson was unable to manage a relationship with audiences out there, I would suggest to you that that is a broader issue right now in Hollywood. I would recommend that as we see the ratings for the Oscars and as we see Hollywood's own reception, own reviews of the Oscars, that perhaps there is a relatability problem happening significantly, and perhaps more so with Disney. And I would recommend that there's a relatability problem that is to such a degree that Japan and Japanese culture is now more relatable to the average person in America than the folks in Hollywood are to people in Iowa and North Dakota and Idaho and Tennessee and most parts of Pennsylvania, Maine. Tokyo now is more relatable than the people from SoCal. And that is not just a marketing problem, although it is. Look at Marvel. Look at the Oscars ratings. Look at the reception of the Oscars. But it's not just a marketing problem. It is a modus operandi problem. But there is hope, because look at the way that RDJ responded to the joke from Jimmy Kimmel. RDJ kind of gets it, and some in Hollywood kind of get it. Arnold Schwarzenegger seems to get it, at least at this juncture in his life. That's good. But not everybody does. And Hollywood needs to fix itself quickly, because Hollywood is facing an existential threat over the next 10 years as the democratization of entertainment is going to land swiftly at its shores. So whether it is the Oscars and the disenfranchisement of the average person from caring a single whit about it, or whether it is Marvel writ large, Hollywood, Disney, Marvel, Brie Larson, Jimmy Kimmel, should I keep going? They all need to figure out very quickly that they are not connecting with a very connectable audience, because the audience is very normal and they have been sent astray. It's time for Hollywood to find its way back to the sensible center. And that is the story for today. Folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, don't forget that the Pro Show is live Tuesday at noon Eastern, where we will be talking about Disney World and Sif Todd and all kinds of things, as well as winners and losers from the past week in Hollywood. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
What? What?
I put out a tweet of a fat minority with a booger in her nose, and I said, "This is an empowered woman." And Kocho retweeted it.
You don't have your own X account, do you?
Oh, well, I actually created it a while ago. The greatest troll I've pulled off in a long time. Do you know how many things I've secretly tanked?
Oh, gosh, I hope not. That would make me legally culpable. But, what are you talking about?
Sweet Baby Inc.
Huh?
Yep. I'm the...
Shut up.
I'm the CEO. Yeah, no, seriously, look, this is my profile picture. Everyone's just AI. It's great. I'm so excited to gaslight everyone and see what they're gonna like next, because they think it's socially obligated.
Wait, so you're... No way, you're
Yep.
the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc.?
Maybe. But first, you should see the jewelry company I created.
We're gonna get sued. Oh.
It's gonna be good.